Ross's game dungeon Trickstyle, which is really stuck out to me because it's a it seems like some kind of hoverboard style of racing game, maybe? I'm not sure. And like Ross rarely covers things like that, so I was really curious what this is about. He usually does some very old, lesser known games that were either unhinged and weird or just had some like cool ideas that didn't catch on at the time. So yeah, let's get in there, you know.
Trickstyle. Trickstyle.
Also, been a while since we saw Ross's game dungeon on the channel, and I know a lot of people have been looking forward for this. So I know that people would rather I watch the Journeyman project, or what was it? I still have it on my list. Just, you know, had to pick something slightly shorter for time management purposes.
Yeah.
Ross has awesome videos. Oh yeah, man. I love like Ross's game dungeon.
Welcome to the game dungeon. Today we have Trickstyle, a hoverboarding game. Yeah, in fact, that's gonna be the word of the day. Hoverboards. If you're not on board with that, you might as well leave right now. Still here? Good. Or I don't know how many left. We will find out. That's part of what this is about. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. New game. Yeah, so we start off and pick a racer. And there are really no wrong choices here. It's a pretty good roster. We have a stereotypical looking future cheerleader. We have a stereotypical looking future sports guy. Now this guy's interesting. He's like a Cuban racer version of an Elvis impersonator. What with the striped bell bottoms? And look at his face. That's a lot of wrinkles for 42. This guy has seen some sun, that's for sure. Looks like he's pretty happy with his life. Okay, sort of a sexy bondage French Zorro look? Not bad. A Jamaican woman who looks like she might be able to kick your ass. This guy. Okay, this was bugging me. I felt like I've seen him elsewhere. And I think I figured it out. I've never played it, but Final Fantasy XI fans. It looks like you can play as a Galka in this game. So, there you go. Okay, a Power Ranger and Bison and just a cool looking dude. Well, I dress halfway like Zach does anyway, so I'm gonna go with him. Yeah, actually, he's on the cover. And look at him. That is exactly the right attitude for hoverboarding.
I mean,
he should work.
Though
King was my runner-up.
That's a fucking good ass design for that last guy. All of those other designs look very exotic and fucking weird.
I feel like he has some stories to tell. Speaking of which, we actually have some story. A lot of story, but it's all in the manual. The year is 22.
Fucking classic, man. Back when the games, you had to scour the manual for the story, and the game was just pure gameplay.
86. And there's some new world order, and hoverboarding sports are satiating the masses. The manual makes it sound a little dystopian, but honestly, I think we could do a lot worse than this. I'm liking the vibe. Hey, it's our coach. Yeah, this is what your gym coach's hair is going to look like in the future. Do we want to do training? Nah, these are hoverboards. I'm ready for this. Let's get to racing. Yeah, this is both a racer and a stunt game. But we'll get to that. Let's race. Off to future London. Ready, set, go. Yeah, it's more or less your standard racer, but look at this. Behold future London. I love this sort of thing. This is another title where I wasn't sure if it would hold up visually, but this is damn good for 1999. You know, this is exactly on target for what I hope to be seeing in the 23rd century. Yeah, check it out.
Cool.
Big Ben has been cyberfied. It's a good move building a race course around it. So we are off to a great start here.
Man,
this is a race, but
aesthetically this game is really fucking strong. Holy shit. Ambitious for the amount of polygons they are made of? Yeah, definitely. Holy. Also, just the way he moves, like seeing him move the character and jump and stuff, seems like this game controls really fucking good.
You can also do tricks along the way to get points. And by getting more points, you, the tricks are pretty cool and actually have some utility. The barrel roll is an offensive maneuver.
So the points are pointless. Gotcha.
The spin gives you additional height and air time, and the luge makes you go faster. But then it's harder to steer and you're more vulnerable. Now you do get a lot more tricks.
Wouldn't the optimal way to handle this is to have a Tony Hawk style combo system where the tricks combo into each other, and the higher points you get, you just get more boosts based on that? Honestly, I can't help but think of the future with hoverboards. Imagine parkour enthusiasts using this. Would be absolutely awesome. Hoverboards kinda fell off as time went on, I feel. Like, back in the day, we were fucking obsessed with this idea of having hoverboards. Now, not so much, I think.
But you have to unlock those. But seriously, there's no point to the points. They don't impact anything. I could have 0 points, but as long as I come in first, boom, winner. I can't use them to get upgrades. They're just there. This is likely an age-old dilemma in game design. Points made sense in the arcade days, where you could use them to compete against the people who frequented the arcade. Now they can still be useful in games where you have a lot of competition and people to compare yourself to, but why would you care in a single-player game? Now you might be saying, aha! This game had a 2-player mode. Yes, it did. But you're still in a race, and points don't matter in the race. Coming in first does. What do you think is going to be more impactful? You striking a winning pose while your friend gets called a loser? Or hearing how many points they have? Oh yeah, the game's wrong, even though it's calling you a big fat loser. You won on a technicality because you have more points? 500 points! Yeah, nobody cares. I think game devs know that now, but honestly, I think they knew that back in '99 too.
I don't know, a lot of games had random points systems where you just kinda, more frequently than that, games in that time started switching from points to just time. Time is pretty universal even in single player games because everybody wants to brag about how good of a time they got in beating a certain game, for example. But getting points makes me feel good. That is true. Point system for single player can be extremely good if you just look at Ultra Kill or Devil May Cry. In fact, although I know that ROS doesn't mean systems where points can actually purchase stuff. Yeah, Devil May Cry is a good example of the style system. Style in Devil May Cry doesn't do anything. Ultra Kill has style meter too, right? The style doesn't do anything, but it makes you feel so fucking cool if you have a high style. So it kind of encourages you to play better because getting hit lowers your style rank. But I'm assuming you mean red orbs, which is just currency to purchase stuff. So this could make sense for this game, using the points to upgrade your abilities, and the races just get harder and harder. I guess the devs didn't think about that, or the implementation would be too challenging, maybe. I don't know.
I think adding points to this game was just sort of inertia at the time where they weren't sure what to do. So yeah let's add points to the race. All right. I guess some people...
They probably did all of the racing, and then they added the trick system, and then they thought to themselves, but why the fuck... How would we make the players use the tricks if there's no point to them? Okay, let's just give them points for it, is the simple explanation. But then again, the points are still useless. So, doesn't style boost the points you can spend at the shop? DMC3 was the only one that really did much with style. No. There are things where style interacts with some things. Like you said, you get more red orbs if you style on the enemies. In DMC5, there is directly an attack you can only use at SSS rank with fucking Dante and Devil Trigger, so it has some uses, but the style ranking is still mostly just to make you feel good, and it is fucking amazing at doing that.
Still care about points? But wow, not me. Style doesn't work on a point system. See, look at that. I don't get any points for that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just glad we've mostly outgrown points. Plus, the rest of the game is pretty good. There's stuff you might expect in an arcade racer, speed boost, jumps. Several levels have a verticality to them, so you can take the top or the bottom.
Man,
good stuff.
That level design looks really fucking good, by the way.
There's also one secret power-up every level, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. Especially since opponents can steal it from you. But there are some quirks too. Like, look at this luge rail. It lines you up to slam you into the wall. In fact, you can't even use normal steering to avoid this wall. You have to use the aggressive steering, which negates all your speed. Kinda weird. Or this ramp here. You see a giant ramp and all these arrows, and you might think, oh ho, better get my speed up for a big jump. But no, if you do that, yeah, you'll catch air, but it's a ramp to nowhere. You'll just crater coming back down and lose speed on your recovery. The better move is to just take it lightly and slope back in. Huh. Or this ramp here leading up to Big Ben. Look at all the arrows. I bet this is gonna be a sick jump, right? No, it's not. This ramp is completely unhelpful. See, if I just take it straight, I hit the clock tower and drop. That's wasted energy at best, a wipeout at worst. There are no moves to bounce off walls to turn this to my advantage. The best maneuver is to skip this ramp entirely and just come in at an angle and cut diagonally here. Why have this ramp at all?
Yeah, that is very questionable. What the hell?
And that's a story that repeats itself elsewhere. Okay, in most racing games, if you have a big ramp, there's usually a reason to take it. Maybe there's a gap you need to clear, or the path on the ground is windy and the ramp lets you bypass it. Now, Trickstyle has some of that, but it also has ramps.
Again, Mario Kart and Crash Racing encourage you to do that because you actually get boosts from doing tricks in the air. I would assume that is the perfect... that would be perfect for this game, but it doesn't do that. It encourages you to be lame and just stick to the ground. If he's about to say that, then I am beyond disappointed. I guess the idea is that holding down the gas isn't the best move. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah, but there are like crash into the clock face to assert dominance, I guess. But there are like way better ways to telegraph that to the player other than baiting them into jumps that fuck you over or rails that fuck you over. Just make some parts of the map really turny and twisty, and then you teach them that, oh yeah, going fast is not always the optimal play. You should like ease into some of these curves. This is, standard racing game stuff, I guess.
That are just there. See, as any physics teacher will tell you, if you're on Earth, going at constant speed in a straight line is usually the fastest way to move. Now, if you go that same speed off a ramp, you're going to get some good air, but you're going to lose horizontal speed because you've changed your trajectory. Now, you might be able to recover some of it if you land on a curved ramp to transform your falling speed back into horizontal speed, but you've still lost speed in the process just from friction. Now, a hoverboard would reduce your friction, but I think you would still take more air friction from your increased speed on your descent. And that's with a landing ramp. With no ramp, it wouldn't even be close. Yeah, see? All things being equal, if this is a race and the finish line is right...
Ross really took to fucking physics presentation to explain all of this.
Right here,
That's kind
I
of
should
funny.
not take this ramp, because it's going to slow me down even though it's going to feel more impressive. If you have flat open space and don't have to worry about turns, you should just go in a straight line as fast as possible. And guess what? That's how it works in Trickstyle. Take this area. There's half a dozen ways I could go here. I could take the luge rail. I could take these steps and go left or right. There's actually a power-up over here, so that might be worth it. And hey, there are speed boosts. That ring is a speed boost. So are those red arrows. So is a straight line really the most efficient way of doing things? Well, I decided to go Mythbusters and test my times in every way I could think of. Luge rail, stairs, jumping off the pagoda, then repeated that and then timed all my runs in the video. Want to know the results? Well, just surfing through normally is not the fastest method, but doing the luge move in a straight line is. Even without any speed boosts, just rocket forward and ignore everything. Now, I would say this is sort of weak design, but that's not the full story. We'll get to that. Plus, we have another...
But like Tony Hawk existed at this point. Why not steal the idea from Tony Hawk that grinding on a rail boosts you in to a maximum speed that you cannot achieve by just, rolling through the level normal. Like that would have completely negated all of these problems, you know. That's so weird. That's actually not true. Going at an accelerated rate in a straight line isn't the fastest way to travel. It's the shortest, but that's a physics discussion. Oh my god, could you imagine a hoverboard game with some broken bone system like the skate games? That would be an immediately buy from me. Mathematically, that ramp is going to be faster in real life. There's even a physics video on that exact subject. I mean, yeah, skipping all of the like real world physics, I would assume in a video game a ramp is a faster way to travel than just going in a straight line if there is a ramp, which it's just weird to make a racing game as specifically the game is called Trickstyle. It's a trick-based fucking racing game, and the game doesn't reward you for doing tricks, but just being lame and going forward. That is such a weird design philosophy. That is wild. Imagine if Jet Set Radio and Tony Hawk, all of the optimal strategies is to just hold the button and go forward. I wonder what happened in the designing of this game. Because surely something had to go wrong. Also, yeah, skate kind of game with like hoverboards that allow you more verticality, like more arcadey skate, I guess. Ooh, sounds like a pretty fucking fun idea, but that's coming from me. I love all skating games, both Skate series and Tony Hawk. So
another variable to consider: rubber banding. You bet this racer has a rubber band AI.
Classic. Fucking classic, man.
And honestly, it's pretty good. You can screw up hard in the first half of almost any race and still have a chance to recover by the end. Alternately, if you've got a lot of skill and are in first place, the AI is not going to pull ahead of you if you're killing it. The game even lets you start early if you hit forward at the right time during the countdown. This is a very forgiving AI. So you can actually afford to take the scenic route if you want to. I'm not complaining. Well, not yet.
The environments are really cool.
These tracks are all great. Makes me want to visit future London.
Yeah.
Then we get to the boss battle. A boss,
what?
huh? No, not really. But now it's no longer a race, and now your points matter. Oh.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we have to score points within the time limit. So let's do some tricks. And you know what? This game knows it's a hoverboarding game. Look at that air. That is high. You know, this reminds me of when skateboarder Danny Way tried to jump the Great Wall of China several years back. And guess what? He did it. Nice and clean. Except the problem was that even though he pulled it off great, I questioned the ramp design. See, he had built up so much momentum, there was no good way for him to get rid of it. So when he hit that end ramp, he just rocketed straight up. And then I think the lizard part of his brain took over, realizing he was gonna die if he didn't land this right. So you see him toss the skateboard and just kind of flail around in the air right there.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? What? Also, I didn't know somebody jumped the Great Wall of China on a skateboard. That's cool. What the fuck was that? What did they think was gonna happen when he makes the jump, man? Oh my god, that guy could have died. That is so fucking bad. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
But if Danny Way had been using a hoverboard instead of a skateboard, then maybe he could have stayed on it. And I think Trickstyle explores that possibility a little bit. And I guess I'm rusty, but I had trouble scoring enough tricks in time to hit the goal. And I think I know...
The only thing he could have done there is just to do the side slide and just slide on his knees before hitting the ramp. But even then, that is a lot of fucking friction and a lot of things could go wrong, like offboarding with that speed. Jesus Christ.
I know what the problem is. I've only been doing races and not the side challenges you need to unlock higher scoring tricks. So I could just stop here and come back to it, but I have a better idea. Unlike a lot of stunt games, Trickstyle doesn't really penalize you for doing the same trick over and over. So if you're trying to show off all your different moves, that's a losing proposition, because some moves are worth more than others. This turns all the tricks into a science. Now the single highest scoring trick I can do this early on in the game is probably a quadruple air spin. So let's do it. I've got to get my speed up for this one. And if we start the timer...
Like I said, there is 0% chance this game came out before Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Maybe even 3. How did they fuck this up? Tony Hawk already distilled this to a science. Like, the blueprint to make a great skating game is right there, man. Why wouldn't you just use the ideas from that?
The other side of the dome, this takes me about 10 seconds to pull off. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that netted me 1,250 points. Well, that's not bad, but that's not great either. Plus, sometimes the controls seem to freeze up on me a little bit, and I can't pull off all the flips reliably. So that's a problem. But since all that matters is point efficiency, watch how a real pro wins a stunt competition. 500 points. Another 500. Have another.
Oh,
listen to that crowd.
God.
They're losing their minds. They can't even finish cheering before they have to start again. Boom. Beat it with...
That is unbelievable.
time to spare. This is what happens when you try to put points on style. But I wasn't playing with a full deck. Let's rectify that. Time for challenges. The coach asks you to do things, and you do them. Then he unlocks your brain, I guess. The difficulty of these challenges is all over the place. You're mostly just racing through hoops. Sometimes it's against the clock. Sometimes it's against...
Welcome back, Superman 64. It's like you never left.
the coach and the clock. Sometimes you have the stunt score again. Check. Sometimes you have to grab globes, which is really just the same thing as the hoops. Sometimes you have globe swaps. I do not like these. These are where you have to...
This is a thought I had before, and partially inspired by things said on Castle Super Beast podcast. I wish there was a skateboarding video game / other extreme sports video game that had a completely batshit insane story. I really wish like a sports game with a really serious story came out, because it would be a great experience. Like imagine a Tony Hawk game where a fucking alien invasion is happening on Earth and Tony Hawk has to come out of retirement to show the 900 to the fucking aliens or they will obliterate the entire civilization. Like, I haven't heard a single batshit insane game like that ever. I guess some of the Tony Hawk games are like the closest we get to that because what's it fucking called? Oh, you're absolutely right, Lich. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk absolutely falls into that category and it is fucking glorious. Man, there was that, not American Wasteland, Tony Hawk's, sounds like an anime plot, kinda true. The one with fucking Bam Margera, I always forget the name. The one people actually really like. Underground, yeah, Underground. Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2 actually had a plot, and it was kind of insane, especially Underground 1, which literally had a fucking Griffith moment with one of the friends you have in the story. Like, he fucking betrayed you in the shittiest way possible at the climax. Jet Set Radio also had like a normal storyline while being a sports game. But yeah, like Jet Set Radio and Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, we need to fucking escalate, you know? We need to escalate into more ridiculous, more like serious and grounded and depressing stories, but in the middle of all of that, you're just fucking doing tricks on your skateboard, you know, or hoverboard. That would be hilarious. And just kino.
To change the color of the globe, but the coach is next to you changing them to his color. So you have to swap all the globes to your color and hope the AI doesn't undo even one of them in that time window. This one is not fun. I'm starting to get apocalyptic flashbacks. I ended up having dumb luck on this one. God, I will take it. I will say, I like how it freezes the game when you win, but not your animations. So you can strike impressive poses. It's even better when you lose, because then you get down off your board and sit down. Things are different in the 23rd century. Whoa, wait a minute. What's that music? That's Window Licker. Sort of.
I hear it a little bit, but legally distinct is what it is.
This came out the same year, too, after the album. Yeah, you know, where Aphex Twin pulls up in the longest limousine in the world. Though if you're like me, you think this is a great scene and all, but come on, where's our wide shot? We need to see the full thing. Well, thankfully, we no longer have to imagine, as someone modeled it into city skylines. I checked, the size is accurate. He includes the sunroof and everything. I feel that I could rest a little easier now that I've seen this.
Why did somebody do that for City Skylines? Hello?
Back to the game, the competitions by and large aren't bad, though these globe swap races are awful. There is an exploit though. What you do is let the AI go first, then you can come up behind him and swap the globe to your color after he's done. Though I hate these mid-air swaps, since I swear the controls for the air—
I mean, that's not really an exploit, that's just a valid strategy. Like, this is something I would legitimately think about if I had to do these sort of challenges.
don't work for me every time. And look what happens when I follow him. He's wiping out on nothing. You know how in Kung Fu movies, sometimes there's a wise old master who teaches the hero how to fight better? This will be like the mentor tripping on his shoes and falling on the floor on the way over to the dojo. It's not what you expect. The rest is pretty good. The hoop courses can be exciting, actually. Also, it looks like the developers didn't account for my strategy of following the coach, which makes the design even more insane. Because the final globe swap event is the easiest one because they're farther apart. I just tail him like a stalker and change his globe once he's done. I can't lose. So they didn't account for this. Good. The final race is the right amount of challenge, and boom. Your skills have reached a standard that I cannot improve upon. Boy, you don't hear that one every day, huh? Next time we meet, maybe I can learn something from you. Like capitalization. And that concludes the challenges. On to New York. Oh, and a quick future history lesson. 2182. New York City becomes a tropical jungle over the course of a year. Huh. Kinda makes me wonder what happened that year. Yeah, the manual to the PC version of the game has extra content, like this timeline here. But the manual to the Dreamcast version is all in color. Not sure what to think of that. It's probably not true, but I still feel like I'm literally the only person who has played this game before on PC. Oh, I've met people who've played it, but it was always on Dreamcast. This game was a bigger deal on Dreamcast. It wasn't quite a flagship title, but it was a notable one. And it's easy to see why. I'm loving this descent.
Man, I never owned like these older consoles like the Sega Dreamcast or GameCube or basically any Nintendo products. Being out of the fucking Eastern Europe, that shit just nobody had that. I knew one person who did own the GameCube, and I was like, what the fuck is this console, man? This is so weird. What do you mean this doesn't play Resident Evil 3? What can you play on it then? And then he showed me fucking Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and I was like, what the fuck? It was like that scene out of Indiana Jones where they open the Ark of the Covenant. It's just a completely new type of video game got registered in my brain. Such a funny thing to think back to. So yeah, also games like this never were on my radar. Although I guess Tony Hawk is basically this but not racing, so...
Seeing the skyline against the park? Can't say I love the draw distance, but I'm impressed how well the game is holding up to my memory. And look at this. I don't know how anyone can look at this and not have it spark their imagination. This game utterly kills it with the environments for 99.
Oh yeah, that is.
And hey, now I have a full skill roster. Yeah, look at my moves now. Watch those points roll in. Oh damn, I lost. Yeah, out of the 20-something moves you unlock, only one of them actually helps you.
I had the Dreamcast, but only after it was popular. The good news is it plays downloaded games no problem, so I had a massive library for it. Ah yes, classic modded console scene. Dreamcast really did have like graphically stunning games, didn't it? Like I look at this and this doesn't seem like a 99 game to me. The 99 games that I know are way more polygonal than this.
In races. And even then, you need that secret power-up for it to work. You don't actually need to unlock any of the stunts, really. The default ones are fine. And New York is a jungle in more ways than one. It feels like every track is a bar fight now. It's much harder than London. I'm constantly getting knocked over in just about every race. Now, I maybe should have used the combat board I unlocked, but I don't know, that's slower. This is a race. I do want speed. I'm also learning some things about the different racers. For example, Mia always takes this jump around here, and I think Shin might be the fastest racer when it's a clean race. But it's never a clean race, so Rose seems to win all the time. I guess she has that combo of being fast and being able to beat the crap out of everyone? That could take you far in life. Yep, there she goes. Okay, got it. Okay.
Oh my god, that is so upsetting.
Got it.
Literally at the last possible moment. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy
She's killing me.
hell.
She always finds a way to pull ahead. There is no mercy here. In the end, I did beat her, but only when everything was going my way. And she wiped out on something. That was important. And look at that winning time! I beat her easily with 200 milliseconds to spare. Jesus Christ. This is driving home the lesson that hoverboarding is not the same as skateboarding. Sometimes you really want that friction, and it's not there. And let's talk about hoverboards for a minute. What happened? This was supposed to be the future. What are we doing? I'm not knocking the fact that we don't have hoverboards. Well, actually I am, but I understand that part. I mean, we do technically have hoverboards, but not really.
Yeah, they're not as impressive, sadly.
Okay, these are the real deal, but they're loud, can't run for very long. I'd say the Arca board is the closest thing we have, but look at the specs. It runs for 6 minutes and has a noise level of 92 decibels. That is loud.
Loud.
Yeah, no. And those are the ones that are actually unrestrained hoverboards. Everybody else cheats and relies on a magnetic surface in order for it to work. I think everyone knows this isn't the hoverboard vision. You want a board where you can just hop on it, take it down the street, and not be so loud you're setting off car alarms. Now, I don't know the origin of the hoverboard concept. It wouldn't shock me if Archimedes had a drawing of one somewhere. But everybody knows Back to the Future 2 is what made this concept catch fire.
Hoverboard.
And the thing is, I think this is still the future people want. Or a lot of people anyway. But I don't think hoverboards are really in the cards until we invent anti-gravity generators. And as Trickstyle shows us, that's not happening until 2171. Trying to make them at this point in time is kind of like building a car without a motor. There are things you can do, but it's just not the same. Or God, I'm out of touch and didn't realize this until I started making this video, that those gyroscope rollerboard things are officially called hoverboards. Wow, and here I thought I was cynical. They don't even hover. We're just giving up entirely and calling these hoverboards instead? This is how Dream
I love this rant so much. He went off the topic so much. I love it.
Through cheap marketing. But back to the point, what happened? We've established there's a lot of good excuses we're not out on hoverboards right now, but games have no excuse. None. We've had anti-gravity generators for decades in games. Trickstyle obviously delivers. But what? This is it? Okay, I could be wrong, but the first 3D hoverboarding game I'm aware of is Airboarder 64. But, apparently it wasn't very good.
The level design is also atrocious. Everything is ultra low quality from the buildings to the lighting effects. This is one of the worst looking excuses of a game on the system by a long, long way. This is a game which makes Superman 64 feel like Super Mario 64.
Ouch!
I make a point of not telling you if you should or shouldn't play a game whenever I do my reviews, but in this case I'm confident enough to say that you will not enjoy this game. It's just awful.
Well, he convinced me. I'm not sure of the chain of progression after that. But we also had Cyberdeck. Impressive phonetics there. But, doesn't look like it's doing much. Also, Streak Hoverboard Racing for the PlayStation 1. Yeah, I don't know. This feels pretty basic, like it's just one long tunnel. I think the PlayStation 1 wasn't really there yet. And then we have Trickstyle, which is not the perfect game, but the highs are so high. This is the taste of the hoverboard dream we've been looking for, and was a real showcase title for the Dreamcast. Normally when you have a solid trend-setting game like this, you get imitators. So what did we get? Well, by the same studio, we had Airblade on PlayStation 2. I'm just browsing, but it looks like there are some good ideas on the gameplay, but this setting feels rather mundane. The Cyber City is gone. It's just a regular contemporary city now. And even then, it's not the best. I mean, it's well made, but this feels kind of depressing. Like this is a place where there used to be more jobs, but then factories shut down and moved overseas. So now it's just kind of dying slowly.
I cannot believe this. This looks like Jet Set Radio or Bomb Rush Cyberpunk without all of the fucking good art direction. What the hell is this?
Same for downtown. It just has an emptiness to it. You can tell this isn't on a list of top places to live. A dark industrial area? A friggin' warehouse? Okay, now this is decent.
Gameplay looks cool,
but we're
though.
competing against Trickstyle. Trickstyle. You know this is a downgrade compared to tropical New York. There's iToy Anti-Grav, and it required a special camera for the PlayStation 2. This isn't grabbing me. I think Trickstyle still tops this. Street Trace New York City. This is just some arena shooter thing. Different kind of game and feels like a downgrade. What's this? No. Oh, and look! Sonic Curtis talking about Sega and brought his own hoverboard game. Games! Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and Sonic Free Riders, which was an Xbox 360 Kinect exclusive. Damn. I still need to play these, but they look mostly like—
There were 3 Sonic hoverboard games? I only remember Sonic Riders. Holy.
like a normal Sonic game, except in a loop, on a hoverboard. Not too much emphasis on the hoverboarding, and sometimes they're not even using a hoverboard. Still, I have to admit, we have hoverboarding, we have good music, We have futuristic cyber or other city stuff going on here. They're good environments. So I wouldn't call these a successor, but they at least give some of the spirit of hoverboarding. So it feels like Sonic the Hedgehog was the only one keeping the torch lit for hoverboards for a decade after Trickstyle. And that's not even his job. So that's the 2000s, and nobody dethroned Trickstyle, or even came close. Well, what about the 2010s? Well, it's been slim pickings. It's been...
I mean, sports games really went down the drain, you know. Not many people just interested in that. That's why Tony Hawk fucking ended, basically. Skate ended, basically. We had a resurgence with Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Thank fucking Christ for that game. Holy. But like, sports games have been on a downward slope for a long time, and many of the subgenres of that are just dead, which is a shame because they're really fun. The skateboarding, rollerblading, hoverboarding, all of those games like had some real fun ass games. Even like very arcade driving games like fucking Crazy Taxi, you know. Those were fun games, and that they just went away. Never came back.
Oh, sure. There have been games that technically have a hoverboard in them, but come on, we're not getting...
Holy fuck, I don't remember that Odyssey Journey to the West has a hoverboard in it. What the hell?
The Trickstyle experience from this. There's Power Hover, okay I guess, but I still like textures. Plus, we're almost back to PlayStation 1 games in terms of gameplay. Now, I'm at a disadvantage because I still haven't played it, but Warframe added hoverboards in 2018. Good. Well, they look decent, and you can do tricks, but this looks kind of spastic and janky. More like this is...
I mean, that's just Warframe for you. I heard this is very fun, actually.
It's just kind of a mount rather than a full hoverboard experience. And again, like Sonic, this isn't their job. I mean, my understanding is Warframe's always been about space ninjas, front and center, right?
Oh, hey, what's up? This is Rhino Ninja. I'm gonna show you how to be ninja today. Hoop, hoop, ninja. In your face. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not fair to dump all this hoverboard baggage on Warframe. The fact that this is one of the leading modern hoverboard contenders is a damnation of everyone else, not them. So where the hell are our hoverboards? What the hell happened? See, at first I thought I was just getting older and out of touch, and hoverboards were no longer cool, even though that doesn't seem possible to me. But no, I don't think that's the case now. In looking up hoverboard games, Fortnite also released hoverboards, and I saw footage of people trying to build their own courses. This is a cry for help. Fortnite's more dominantly played by younger people, and we're failing the younger generation since this is all they have for hoverboards. How did this happen? Sure, Trickstyle's great, but there's no successor at all? Why did we toss aside hoverboards like Danny Way? You know what? In reading the future history, something else hit home. In 2200, the One World Confederacy succeeds. People no longer need to work. 2203, people first hear of hoverboarding. 2208, discontentment surfaces with the One World Confederacy. So people no longer need to work. So I guess we solved hunger and housing. Our cities look like this. We have hoverboards, and everyone's discontent a few years later. Wow, we're just hopeless, huh? Maybe Trickstyle saw this coming. The music ranges from okay to good.
Ooh, that's a funky beat.
So good. It came on CD audio too, which is great. I love it when 90s games don't have the soundtrack compressed to hell and back. And since I recognize Window Licker, now I don't know if the composer ripped off other
Ninja's well known for their reflective metal. Yeah. That's the most comically sad hoverboard course I have ever seen. There is a lot of that in Fortnite custom maps, I think. Like, really cool ideas that somebody tried to bring to reality, but it just feels kind of sad and empty. Something about the Fortnite dude standing completely unenthusiastic on the hoverboard as it glides around with no real boost or momentum. It's so funny.
People. But if he did, he had good taste. Oh, and something else this game did right. It's an arcade racer, so it's light on damage. Normally you can survive any fall, any accident, and all that happens is you get knocked down temporarily. But even in this game, if you run in front of a moving train, that's it, you die. I appreciate how they didn't pull punches there. Well, after finishing the New York races, which includes a track next to the Statue of Liberty, because this game gets it, there's another boss battle, and this one's easy. You just move from one area, get the globe, then come back. And unlike the nightmare levels, you don't have to change every globe. You literally just have to have one more than the coach. Can do. That nets me the speed board. But I lose some stability with this. Let's stick with the normal one for now. On to Japan! Oh, and maybe I'm just playing the wrong games, but can we agree Neo Tokyo is severely underutilized in games? I mean, when it's not being blown up, why would you not set a game here? Again, Trickstyle gets it. Well, this one is cleaner racing, but it's harder. I just can't keep up. The rubber banding is starting to hurt, since it seems like no matter how well I do, they end up pulling ahead. Though after I lose again, the guide essentially says, "Hey stupid, why don't you use the turbo board?" Alright. Yeah, that's better. Hoverboarding is still tricky though. The controls are mostly good, but hoverboarding is just tricky. You know how sometimes I can't show you how the controls feel and you just have to take my word for it? Well, not here.
Obviously.
This segment right here feels exactly how it looks. Tricky Trickstyle. Well, Japan is a mix of mundane indoor areas, but it has its moments outside. It's giving me Star Wars Cloud City vibes. This is more like Neo Tokyo. And look at this descent. Get down!
Him missing all of those boosts, like, triggered our fucking neuron response in my brain. Holy. I think some of those building designs should be censored.
The draw distance is a little rough though.
They are very phallic. A lot of future designs are very phallic for some reason, you know. I mean, just most spaceships just look like
Something I've been noticing throughout the game. But you know what? There's something else that's been bugging me too. When I started this game up, I was noticing some glitches that I didn't remember. Look at those lights, or the shadows here. There's some sort of Z-order
I'm assuming that's gonna be like some PC only thing?
fighting going on. Most of the game looks good, but this stuff just jumps out at me. I hate this. But see, I'm running the Direct 3D version. If we run the Glide version with the wrapper, then it's all cleared up. But whoa, look at that break in the skybox. That is killing the immersion. That's a problem on the Direct 3D copy too, though it's not as extreme. Was it always this way? But you may have noticed there's a real advantage to playing on Direct 3D. See, Glide had a texture limitation of 256 by 256 pixels, so you can see for yourself things are just muddier. Whereas this is one of the earlier titles you could bump up the resolution on Direct 3D, and it honestly helps. But still, there are graphics issues in both copies. I can't win. Why do I have to choose? Oh! Dreamcast has entered the stadium! Yeah, why not? Let's see how the Dreamcast does. Well, okay, this isn't authentic. This is just a Dreamcast emulator. But let's see if they fix things here. It's almost in between the two. It fixes the Z-fighting bug. The textures have better resolution than Glide, but not as good as Direct 3D. The skybox bug is still there, but it's hard to see at this resolution. Now, believe it or not, I was able to fix the skybox, 100%, but it came at a cost. If I use DG Voodoo 2 and set texture filtering to force point sampled, then bam, 100% perfect skybox.
Nice.
The problem is that disables bilinear filtering, so you really see those texels. This is like a PlayStation 1.5 look, if that existed. I don't know. I like
Oh.
texture filtering. We'll just have to live with the seam lines, but we're back to the same dilemma. Well, around this time, viewer Q3K emailed me out of the blue and asked me if I needed help with any sort of game hacking, as he was experienced in that. So I said, sure, Q3K. Why don't you take a look at Trickstyle? Trickstyle. So he did. And it took him a while, but here's what he said. Trickstyle's engine has what I think is a logic bug. When it enumerates all Z-buffer depths reported by the graphics card, it picks the lowest possible supported Z-buffer depth. So he found the address to change it, so it picks the highest one. And here is the memory address to change on the executable. One number. That's all this was. One friggin' number to change to the hex editor. These are the bugs that get to me, guys. The ones that make a huge difference and take the absolute smallest and easiest of fixes, but you have to know where to do it, which at my level can often be impossible. But you know what?
In game design and like these corporations, this can also be a problem, because when you have ongoing games, for example, a lot of people, or people remaking old games, right? A lot of people who worked at the beginning with that company are no longer there, and the future generations of devs, because there are layoffs, there are problems with pay, there are a lot of problems in the industry. So when new generation of devs come in, they don't know how to work the fucking code that was left behind by the devs. Only the original devs know how to work it, and they are just gone. Like, how are you going to locate them? So it is a very constant problem with a lot of fucking ongoing video games, especially, and remakes of older games where code bases are lost and people just disappear. Ross's Game Dungeon is legendary compared to other reviews. How deep he dives into glitches or graphical stuff like this. True, and it is very interesting stuff, especially when he has the solution and he exposes how fucking simple it could be if you know what you are doing.
This means no compromises, or a lot less anyway. And as you've noticed, I've gotten this working on widescreen too, and ultra wide, and triple monitor wide.
Yo.
Yeah, how's that? Is that wide enough for you? Yeah, I guess that HUD is wide enough. Well, I'm not one to hoard the wealth, so I'm releasing all the information on how I got this working.
Based.
I'm also releasing a modified EXE that includes the Z-fighting fix. Although this was already patched to include better compatibility on modern Windows, and I honestly can't remember where I got it from. It's not from Game Copy World. Now, you still need the original disc copy, since all the digital store copies out there are on Glide, at least at this point in time. I do have a loose contact at GOG, I still want to say GOG, and I've passed this information on to them. Now, they have more legal hoops to jump through than a gaming outlaw like myself, but fingers crossed they can use this so it doesn't have to be such a fixer-upper. Either way, I think I can objectively say this is now the best looking copy of this game in existence. And I'm handing it to you. Or handing you the tools anyway. And that's good, because there's no successor to this. Subjectively, I think this is still the best hoverboard game out there. So I've done what I can for this gem. Well, really, Q3K did the heaviest lifting, but I did some smaller fixes and was sort of a human catalyst for this. I can take credit for that. Speaking of which, this is probably a mistake since I'm backed up with email already, but just in case, if anyone else has the background and is interested in doing random game hacks out of the blue like this, you can email me. I can't promise a speedy reply, but who knows what could come up in the next game. I'll keep it reasonable and won't expect you to create a server emulator to the crew or the secret world, since I'm assuming you're immortal like myself. But there have been more than a few games where these one-number fixes could have really made a difference. I mean, it's still not perfect. Besides the HUD, there's also this glitch I know was in the original, where some of the alpha textures tear through reality to reveal the skybox. You can see them in various places in the level. I've seen this sort of thing in Grand Theft Auto 3 also. I'm sure...
Oh, yeah. Man, this made GTA 3 kind of uncanny. Also makes those trees look like absolute shit.
Sure someone knows what's happening here. Why it cuts through some objects, but not others. And unlike Grand Theft Auto, everything is so futuristic looking in Trickstyle anyway, it almost works. Also the draw distance. Well, believe it or not, Q3K figured out how to extend that too. Another hex edit. But it's unfortunately not that simple. See, even though this does extend the drawing of objects, you see how some of the map just pops right in there? That almost certainly means the model has its own unique value when it should appear coded into the map. That would be hell to fix without the editor. So the default game draw distance I'd say is actually more desirable, since it masks that pop-in, mostly. Well, we can't have everything. But we can have the Tokyo Cup. The levels aren't that bad after getting the turbo board. But we have a boss battle after level 4, but not 5. What could it mean? Well, the boss battle is a joke. It might literally be the easiest level in the game. Just write in a figure 8. This is dirt simple. Yeah, why did you take me away from Neo Tokyo for this? I beat it? Aha! Now it opens up. The final level. Oh my. This level. I have a grudging respect for this level. I mean, first, we solved that mundane indoor area problem. This is all open.
And now the phalluses are pink, man. That just looks like a fucking dildo, not a building. Holy hell, what were they on with this design? Jesus Christ.
So open, there's nothing preventing you from falling to your death. Yep, there I go. Though I do have to dock some points for hitting some sort of bounding button.
Oh, it's the Mario Star Road problem.
What I really want is to watch him fade to nothing and just hear some screaming. And that's the name of the game for this map. Falling to your death. It's going to happen over and over and over. You have this jump right at the start, which surprisingly I only get a little better at pulling off as time goes on. It feels like there's a chance it's going to get me every time. This jump afterwards, the double loop-de-loop, the ramp you need to get up speed for, these sky ramps, couple of those, and this narrow tunnel strip. Oh no. This is where...
Ooh, the tunnel looks really painful. Holy shit.
Where it gets me, assuming I even make it this far. And if I somehow make it past that, there's another one ready for me.
Oh no.
And things can go very wrong before even getting here. You're going to die and die here. This level is such a massive difficulty spike against everything else in the game. The level before this was literally a figure 8. Mind-blowing. I have to say though, this is the last level, and it's kind of out of left field. So I have some respect for that. You know that movie The Wizard? Where this kid is a video game prodigy, so he goes to this big Nintendo tournament, and for the final competition, they unveil Super Mario Bros. 3, which in the movie, nobody has seen before. So they're testing their skill on something nobody was ready for. That's what this level feels like. Well, I'm hardly consistent. I can take everything else except this tiny strip. This is not easy on the hoverboards. I even tried practicing off the course, but there's not really an equivalent of that damn strip. I also tried it with the new Stunt board, just in case that helped. It didn't really.
They picked the design meant to take vibrations for when Japan has another earthquake. I hate that you came up with that on the spot, man.
It just sort of changes the angle I need to hit it, and it made the other segments harder. I think the speed board is still better. Well, I guess the only answer here is to get good. Though honestly, levels like this start making me question a little too much. Because when a game takes this much practice to get through, I get that feeling in my head again, like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Why am I playing this? I'm not cruising through future downtown looking cool and having a race. I'm doing the same thing over and over again and being punished for imperfection. I encounter enough of that in real life. I don't really want it in games. Now, some people do like really hard games. Hell, I do if I resonate with the mechanics. But if you're one of those people, then you're going to be very disappointed with every other level in Trickstyle, which only
True.
takes a few tries to come in first. Hell, even I was disappointed with this one. So I have to call this bad difficulty balancing, because it's not really for anyone. But I do like the concept of the final level being completely out there and surfing among the clouds and falling to my death. Oh ho! Thought I was gonna fall that time, didn't you? No, I have the speed board. We've got some thrust. Come on, get up there. Get up there. You can do it. Get back up there. Ah! Made it.
He's not gonna make the jump now. Obviously.
Oh, man.
Fucking obviously. Holy shit. Oh my god. It wouldn't be as bad if it wasn't an insta death.
This level also follows an old school difficulty design that a lot of games embrace, in that the difficulty is kind of like a pyramid, and that you're going to be practicing the early sections over and over and over just to have a chance to practice the later sections. I've never liked that design. I mean, I guess it does make the later portions that more alluring, but in the meantime, you're seeing the beginning over and over again. But that appeal is there. What about this time? Is this it? Is this the one? No.
Oh
No.
my god.
No. 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 I mean, yes! Oh, God. And the rest is a walk in the park. Some luge rails, a big drop. Winner! Ah! But before we celebrate, I've been recording everything. So let's put some numbers to this. How many tries does it take to get good? Well, I went through and counted every death. For science, 59 deaths. Attempt number 60 was the charm. So that's what get good means in a game where you can competently play the other 98% of it without much drama.
I can't believe how many times he has fallen off here. Like, it seemed perfectly lined up for me personally. Like, this is what I would have done playing this game. Holy fuck, this is frustrating me. Like, I'm getting third degree frustration. Holy shit. There have been games like Excite Track on the Wii where I've played the entire game just for one level. Damn.
You need to play this level 60 times. Or I did anyway. Though if there was a checkpoint before that pipe strip, that number could have been cut in 2/3 at least. I also contend 2 of those deaths weren't my fault. Right here on the sky ramps, I swear to God, I pressed jump both of these times, and both times nothing happened. I mean, I'll make mistakes, but not doing anything as I see an obvious gap leading to my death coming right at me isn't really my style. The button didn't register, even though it did most of the time. The other 57 deaths were my fault, though, 100%. They weren't even cheap tricks. I could see what was coming and I just died. It was all me. Maybe this is why people became discontent with the One World Confederacy. Watching people fall to their deaths leaves an impression. Well, I get my trophy, and we get credits, and that's it. So, not a very good ending, though a lot of racing games don't even have one.
This actually is a great in-game explanation as to why the 40-year-old dude, or whatever he was, had so many fucking wrinkles on him. Because he survived so long in a sport where people fall to their fucking deaths, like, every race. He just seen some really bad shit during those races, man.
I feel like there was some missed potential here, since the characters are so distinctive. They could have taken a page from Mortal Kombat, where you get a splash screen explaining what happened to the character after winning. I feel like Zack here would have either used the tournament money to try and improve his neighborhood back home, or maybe he would have died from a drug overdose from partying too hard. I could see him going either way. I mean, I'm assuming there was tournament money. I don't really know what's going on in the 23rd century. I think the moon blew up at some point. Something happened with the moon. And that's the game! Trickstyle's hardly a perfect game, but it has a lot going for it, and it's another game like Dungeon Siege where I haven't really seen anything like it since. I guess the closest thing might be the Jet Set Radio series, but that's rollerblading. Not as far into the future and very stylized with the cell shading. But it has the right spirit. We really need a spiritual successor to Trickstyle. Though I'd be
Oh, I thought he's gonna say to Jet Set Radio.
fine if they turn the gameplay upside down. Putting points on tricks doesn't do anything for me. Even the racing was just okay, nothing special. But having excuses to pull hoverboard stunts in a futuristic cyber city? To me, that's what it's all about. So instead of points, maybe bystanders could shout and point at you if you did a bunch of stunts? Or trash talk you if you're not doing that great? Or have segments where you get more attention if you can pull off stunts to the beat of the music? Or have secret tricks, like jumping off hover cars? I'd also like to have a lot more Cyber City to check out. Maybe have an exploration mode to it
Just have a fucking DMC style meter
also.
that does nothing but give you style, and the song gets way more intense. Like, there you go. It doesn't have to do any like real function for the gameplay.
Have excuses to see the whole city. I know I'd like to check out more of what's in those skyboxes if they weren't just textures. I don't know. The game's a little dated, but showing off your hoverboard skills in the future never will be. That's the episode. Stay tuned for the Halloween episode. No, wait, I did that.
And that's all she wrote. There's some... Okay. Man, the fucking city skylines limo is still like bugging me. Why did somebody do that? Why in city skylines, man? Just because they could? And yeah, now it's all she wrote. Oh my god. Trickstyle is fucking cool, and I agree with Ross. There should be a spiritual successor to this because it is just cool. And yeah, not much to say. Thank you very much for watching. For those of you who seen this video later on YouTube, thanks for supporting the channel and stopping by, and I will see you as always in the next one.